In 1860, when the entire population of LA County was less than 15,000 people, Colonel Thomas Finley Mitchell homesteaded 160 acres in Soledad Canyon, including this cemetery, which he is buried in, as is his wife and his children and his various in-laws and outlaws. Hello, my name is Philip Scorza, and I would like to welcome you to our show, Points of Interest. The history of Canyon Country and the Mitchell family is strongly intertwined. Today we're going to tell you that story, visit with some early Canyon Country families, and take a drive up Sierra Highway to see what's left of the past. Joining me on our little jaunt is my old friend Tom Frew. Tom, come on in here. Don't trip over a gravestone or anything. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you again, Phil.
Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
Now, you were
My
raised
pleasure.
in Newhall, of course. Canyon Country was sort of like the back country, right? I mean, this is way out back then, wasn't it?
Way out.
Yeah?
Way out. There were probably only maybe a half a dozen families here in the mouth of Soledad Canyon, and then in Mint Canyon, probably maybe 24 families.
Mhm.
So it was really out in the sticks.
Yeah, and what's changed considerably since then, hasn't it? It's amazing.
Maybe the change is good, maybe the change is not good.
Right. Well, I'm glad you're joining us today. We're going to see what maybe some relics are left up Old Sierra Highway of what
Good.
Canyon Country looked like. First, we want to talk a little bit about the Mitchell Cemetery. This is one of two family cemeteries that I'm aware of in all of the Santa Clarita Valley, the Mitchell Cemetery and the Ruiz Cemetery. And of course, back in the old days when you had a homestead as large as Colonel Mitchell had, you needed a cemetery. People died, obviously, both in the family. There was a lot of fatalities back then, and so there's approximately around 30 people that are buried here, including the colonel himself and his wife and children, etc. I'm told the last burial was done here in early 60s, by the way, in the early 1960s.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of the places we want to save and preserve in our community and be aware of.
Very good. Yes, we definitely want to preserve this type of thing.
Yeah. Well, today we're gonna hop around, and what do you say you and I hit the road, huh?
Sure, let's go.
Okay. Well, this is a lovely place for a ranch house, and this is the site where Colonel Mitchell had his homestead, right? This was the place.
That's right.
This is the place, and there was, now if I got my facts correct, Colonel Mitchell was born in about 1827, and he moved here in 1860. But interestingly enough, he lived first in Simi Valley. Did you know that?
No, I
He
didn't.
lived in Simi Valley, and the reason he had to move from Simi Valley, see, he was a man who ran sheep. And you know the old story about the sheep herders and the cattlemen. They didn't get along exactly, see, because I guess sheep, when they graze, they eat everything in sight and don't leave anything for anybody else. And so he had to leave Simi Valley, maybe under duress, I don't know. And he settled up here, where there was absolutely nobody else to tell him what to do, right?
That's
I mean,
right.
1860, it was him, and the John Lang had just settled also in 1860, further up the track a few miles. Of course, Lang was the guy who had Lang Station, that sort of thing. But Colonel Mitchell built the Mitchell Adobe, was the first house he built for his young bride. And we have that, we saved that. That's over at the Historical Society. And a few years later, Colonel Mitchell was, I guess, prosperous enough because he ran sheep and he also had bees, was the big thing. And so he built a real nice ranch house, and then the Mitchell Adobe became sort of an outbuilding, tools, shed, bunkhouse, whatever. And then I guess a few years later, I think maybe 5 years later, he and the Langs and another family or so got together and they said, hey, we need a school up here. So they started the first school, and they actually, 6 months out of the year, they used the Mitchell Adobe as a schoolhouse, and the other 6 months out of the year, they went up to Lang's place up there. And of course, that school eventually became the Sulphur Springs School, and the Sulphur Springs School District started. It's the second oldest school district in LA County, and that sort of thing. But you were telling me about how a developer came in and was going to tear down the Mitchell Ranch House. You remember the Mitchell Ranch House, obviously,
Yeah.
and when it was here.
They were going to tear down the Mitchell Ranch House as well as the Adobe. And I guess the ranch house had already gone by the way of the bulldozer, and a number of people decided that the schoolhouse should not go, the Adobe should not go. So they literally stood holding hands around the ranch house in the way of the bulldozer so that they could save the property. But the day they were they came to circle the house, when the bulldozers were supposed to arrive, a whole swarm of bees came into the house. And
Descendants of the bees of Thomas Finley Mitchell. There, I'm
probably.
sure.
And the bulldozer couldn't complete his work because of all the bees, and it gave another 2 days time, which the Historical Society arranged to tear down the house brick
Right.
by brick and move it and make a few more bricks
Right.
at the society to complete the schoolhouse. So
And that's one structure we managed to save.
yes, one of the few.
One of the few, yeah. Because, I mean, in 71, Lang Station was torn down by the Southern Pacific Railroad, and then a year later, the developer came in to tear down the Mitchell house and the adobe, and I guess people just had enough at that point. They said, hey, wait a minute, we're losing our valuable historic properties here.
That's right. That's right.
So it was time to do something, and
We were very fortunate to be able to capture these few buildings that we do have.
that's true. That's very true, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, like we said, it's a lovely place, and the interesting thing, I guess the ironic thing, is that the developer was going to build here, and he never did build anything.
No.
So, what was the
we
reason
could have
for
had
tearing the
both.
house?
We could have had
Right.
both structures.
We could have
That's
bought
right.
some time and maybe moved that fine old ranch house and had that one sitting on our Heritage Junction property too.
That's right.
It's too bad, yeah. Well, it's nice in the shade. I hate to leave here, but it's probably time you and I hit the road.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Okay. Lovely home here. Hello.
Hello, good
How
morning.
are you? Philip Scorza.
Very
Nice
good.
to meet you.
Clem Cox.
How are you? You remember Tom Frew here?
Hello, Tom.
We see each other once in a while.
Once in a while.
I've known Tom since he was that big.
Thank you for having us to your home.
Oh, you're welcome.
Well, now we're up in Sand Canyon at the home of Clem and Paula Cox. Clem is a lifelong resident of this area, grew up here, and we thought we'd sit and visit with him and find out what life was like growing up here in Canyon Country. How are you, Clem?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. Tell us a little bit about this. Now, you're 74 years old. You were, your family was here before you were. You were
Yes.
born here, right?
Yes.
So how'd your family happen to get to move to Canyon Country?
Well, it was my father wanting to get out here, and the 40 acres they bought had been homesteaded by a man by the name of, I believe his first name was Joe Youngblood, Indian descent, and he had homesteaded several hundred acres in here, and they bought 40 acres from him. And I remember as a kid, our tax bill came on 40 acres, $3.50, $4 a year.
That's a good deal.
Yes, yes,
Is this the land we're on now?
yes.
Same land?
Same land.
So it's been in the family ever since?
Yep. hmm
Oh, great. Great.
But I did have 27 acres left of it. My brothers took a piece and sold and disappeared, and well, I shouldn't say disappeared, but they're not living in the area any longer.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Okay. Now, this wasn't called Canyon Country when you were growing up. What was this area called or known as?
We were known as Saugus.
You were part of Saugus.
Yes, our post office was Saugus, and I'm on about my 5th address now and have never moved. We were originally Route 1, Box 287 Saugus, and the mail was delivered down on Sand Canyon. And then we became Route 4 because a few more people, and they had to break the route. And then they gave us a house number and a street, and then they finally changed us from Saugus to Canyon Country. And now I guess we're supposed to be the city of Santa Clarita.
Well, that's right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Our mail carrier took off. He lived right up Soledad Canyon here, and he would be down in the post office at Saugus at 6 a.m., sort his mail, get in his car, go up Sierra Highway to Acton, and down Soledad Canyon Road from Acton, and then up Sand Canyon here. And you could set your watch by him. He was at our box about 2 o'clock every day.
That was his route then?
That was his route, yes.
All the way up to Acton.
Yeah, all the way.
So even the people in Acton got their mail from Saugus.
Yeah.
Wow. What about supplies? Did you have any, there were no Ralphs or Hughes markets up this way at that time. Where'd you go for food and supplies?
Well, we had a little Solomont store at the junction of Mint Canyon, or Sierra Highway. We used to call it Mint Canyon. It's Sierra Highway now, and Soledad Canyon Road. And an old country store, a man by the name of Al Clark, who was quite innovative, and every tourist coming in this area used to stop there. He had all kinds of little captions on various things, like he had bare-breasted woman on a picture he got out of a magazine, and the caption would say something like, milk comes in such cute containers. We sell baby bottles. And the place was full of that sort of thing. And people would go in there and just browse and look.
So if you were coming from crossing the desert, this was actually the highway that you took to get into Los Angeles then, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Highway 6, I think we talked about.
Through New Holland, Saugus.
Through New Holland,
Yes.
Saugus, but first you had to go past Solomon Junction.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what's the biggest change you've seen? You've been here quite a while. I mean, is it the population growth, or what do you think is?
Well, population growth would sure be something, but the way, well, the houses that they have built now, I remember at the end of the war when I started teaching school in Van Nuys, some of my teacher friends, they were developing the Panorama City area, and the houses they built in those days were 900 square feet. Mm-hmm. And today, if you don't have 3,000 square feet, you have a dinky house. And around here now, on the McMillan Ranch, my gosh, they've got 5,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet, huge houses. And why anyone wants such a big house, I don't know.
Right.
Oh, I remember a man down in the canyon here, an old Italian that had vineyards and alfalfa, and his son grew up and got married and wanted to build a house on the place. And he was going to put in 2 bathrooms. And he says, we don't need 2 bathrooms. Joe, you don't need 2 bathrooms. You can go outside.
Now, is that the Italian that used to be right close to where your shopping center is at Soledad and
Yeah.
kind of down in the draw?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The one that possibly may have made wine during days when he was not supposed to be making wine?
Oh, we had all the bootleggers. Well, I say all. We had several of them, and they were from the old country and had vineyards in here. And the revenuers came in around 1940, I believe. And one squealed on the other, and they went in, and some of them actually had stills where they were distilling the wine and making brandy. And that paid more money. And of course, growing up with some of those kids, I always wondered where they got so much money. And the rest of us were poor as church rats. This kid could have a car to drive to high school, and of course we couldn't. And then when the revenuers hit, why? And I had been around in that area, you know, with them riding horses and bicycles, and I knew there was a strange smell, but had no idea what it was.
There's something in the air.
It was something in the air.
How many families were up in San Cam? I mean, were there just a few?
I would say probably a couple of dozen. I'll tell you an odd story, and I saw the lady was a girl that went to school with me back in behind the Warmouth Ranch area. They had two girls and a boy, and one weekend they were out driving around. And they spotted this old house way back up in there, completely vacant. No one had been around it in years, it looked like. So they moved in. And they were in there several years until along came a man and said, "Hey, who are you? This is my house." And I guess they started paying him a little rent then for the house. It had no running water, an outhouse, and so forth. But they didn't have too much money. And
How long ago was this?
this would have been back in, of course, in the 30s.
Oh, in the 30s. Okay.
Yeah, back in the 30s. You know, the Depression was back in then, and a lot of people were in trouble.
Sure.
And she just happened to stop in here to see if we still existed. Oh, it's 4 or 5 years ago now.
Uh-huh.
And then
This was the lady that moved into the...
yeah,
Squatted in the house, basically.
with her family. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we all went to school together.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah.
Well, now, wasn't Mint Canyon basically, weren't there a lot of people up in Mint Canyon that were squatters
Oh, I'm sure.
after the Depression.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I know with my dad and mother, we drove up that way every once in a while. And my dad would point out the houses and say, you know, most of these people are just living there. They don't own the property, but they've set up housekeeping and built some small shacks.
Well, I want to thank you very much for having us out to your lovely home here and telling us a little bit about Canyon Country. And I think, Tom, it's probably time you and I hit the road and see what else we can find. Huh?
Okay, sounds
Okay.
good.
Thanks again.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Clem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, no history of Canyon Country would be complete without a visit to the site of John Lang's Hotel and Health Spa and Lang Station, right?
Exactly.
This is where we are. We're up at the site of Lang Station. And now John Lang was the only neighbor of Colonel Mitchell, basically. These two men were neighbors, and John Lang came here in what year, do you know?
1864, where he
64.
bought 160 acres from the railroad,
From the Southern Pacific.
Southern Pacific at that time, right?
Right. And they were planning to come through here with the tracks at that time, and they managed to put up a station for John Lang, I guess, or for the people of this community.
That's right.
We have some old maps of this particular area here showing the sidings. The Lang Station was the place where the narrow gauge came in from the Sterling Borax mine.
Right.
So they
down
had a
through
siding
Tick
here.
Canyon.
Down through Tick
Exactly.
Canyon, right. And interestingly enough, it's only one of two narrow gauge trains that existed in all of Southern California, too. Was the one that came out of Tick Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
But John Lang came here. He and Colonel Mitchell started the Sulphur Springs School District, right?
That's
We
right.
talked about that already. And health spa now. It's interesting. You and I look around here, and we don't see any country that looks like it might be a good place to come for sitting in the hot sulfur
Well,
springs.
you know, but many people came to these dry climates because of respiratory problems.
Mhm. That's true. That's true.
Came away from the beach or came away from
Right.
the East Coast where it was damp.
Hot, dry
and
climates.
They wanted a hot, dry climate. And
Right.
with his Sulphur Springs, which of course is how the
That's where the name
area
of the
where the
school
name of the
district-
school came from,
Right.
exactly. Because of the Sulphur Springs, people came here for, they called it the cure.
Oh, the cure.
The cure.
I'm told that the famous outlaw Tiburcio Vasquez came and hung around at the train station and also took the cure here. Now, do you suppose if we dug around somewhere we could find sulfur springs bubbling up in this country anymore? Or?
No, I rather doubt it. I think our water table is so low now that we
Oh,
could
okay.
not possibly find any more,
Yeah.
any more sign of a spring.
So it wouldn't be a good place to put up a health spa anymore then.
I don't think so. Especially not today or this last week with the heat.
Right. I have some interesting photos of Lang Station.
Oh,
Why don't I
okay.
show them to you now?
I'd like to see them.
Okay. You know who this is in the photo? That's Minnie Mitchell. That's the daughter. That's one of the daughters of Colonel Mitchell.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
And she's standing at Lang Station. I guess she's waiting for a train. She looks like she's waiting for a train.
Yes, she does.
See, this is a really good picture of Lang Station. I love the telegraph sign there,
Mm-hmm.
right? And this is a semaphore. That tall pole behind that man with the hat is a semaphore signal. And see the upstairs, that's where the agent lives. So somebody lived here actually too.
Sure.
A lot of trees in the area. This is kind of an interesting photo of Lang Station. The monument is what interests me. They put the monument up, and I need to find out about this. They put the monument up before they tore the station down. And that doesn't seem kind of strange to you?
Very.
Instead of a monument, maybe they could have saved the station.
Exactly.
And it's just too bad we just, couldn't have saved this lovely little station. I have to presume Lang was living here before the railroad actually put the rails through here. And of course, building the rails was quite a project to get through the San Fernando Tunnel.
Exactly.
But they chose this spot to tie the two largest metropolitan areas of our state together by rail. Why they chose here, I don't know. This isn't exactly the halfway mark.
I don't think it was a choice. I think it's just a matter of this is where they ended up.
This is where they actually met.
The tunnel took the most time.
Mhm. Yeah.
The San Fernando tunnel
Fernando
took the
tunnel.
most time.
Right.
So therefore,
Right.
this has just happened to be where they met.
So in 1876, they had a little ceremony here. trains came out from downtown LA, and they did one of those things where they put the two engines, you know, nose to nose, and a big crowd of people, and had a big party. They drove the Golden Spike, and I forget which dignitaries were here. Do you recall?
Not from personal. Not from personal knowledge. Thanks, Phil. No, Charles Crocker.
Crocker was here. Okay.
Huntington.
Okay, so they all came down then.
Banning. Lucky Baldwin.
And whoever the mayor of LA was.
Whoever the mayor of LA was, right. Yeah,
right.
all the dignitaries.
You know, came out
there are
there.
probably more dignitaries in this part of the state then than there have ever been since.
Probably, yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I thought it was interesting that they actually laid the last one section of track.
Right here, you mean?
Right, the day of the ceremony.
Oh, the day of the ceremony.
Day of
Yes,
the ceremony,
yes.
and they had Chinese workmen, which most of the work was done by Chinese. Chinese workmen.
I know there's a wonderful monument over here to the Chinese workmen.
We'll have to take a look at that.
Yeah.
The Chinese actually put down the last two sections of rail, the last, one on either side, and then Stanford was the one who actually drove the Golden Spike.
And then I'm told they all got back on the train and went downtown to LA to have a big party.
That's right. That probably was the most outstanding part for the participants that day.
Yeah. We have some photos of a celebration that took place 50 years after they drove the Golden Spike here on this site. Apparently they got a whole bunch of more modern engines together and a whole bunch of people dressed up in costume for some reason. And they all came out here in 1926 and they recreated the ceremony where they drove the Golden Spike. So, but this is the site. We think this is the site of Lang Station here, and it's totally different today than it used to be even 35 years ago. 25
I'm
years
sure.
Ago, 25
Exactly.
years ago, because they tore the station down in 1971. And the only thing that's left is this lovely marker here, Lang Southern Pacific Station. It's interesting, we were talking earlier, and it's entirely possible that in some future date, with the growth of the city of Santa Clarita, there may be a need for another Metrolink station at this end of the valley, and who knows, maybe there will someday again be another Lang station. What do you say we hit the road and finish our journey?
Good. Okay,
Let's
thanks.
go. Well, now we're on the site of the old Dylan Beck's store, right?
Market,
which was torn down here.
Right.
We're at the intersection of Soledad Canyon Road and Sierra Highway, and this was the hub, the downtown of Canyon Country.
That's right. That's right. The old Solomon store was down here at the junction.
That's the one Clem was telling us about.
That's the one that Clem told us about.
Right,
exactly.
Right. And up that way, of course, is Sierra Highway. And that's the way to Lancaster in the desert, right?
That's right.
Right. Now, we have some old wonderful aerial photos that were taken of this particular intersection in 1962. You're looking east up Soledad Canyon Road. That hill on the bottom left of the photo is where the Lucky's Shopping Center sits today. This photo was taken 8 years later in 1970. As you can see, they've started to build a little more of the area. Now there's a mobile station on the northwest corner of Solomon Junction. Tom, let's hit the road and see what's up Sierra Highway, shall we? Well, we're at what is today called the Canyon Theater Guild, but back in the mid-60s, a man named Robert Callahan moved his Wild West from Santa Monica, actually the direct path of the Santa Monica Freeway, to up here in Canyon Country, and he opened up Callahan's Wild West. And this is what's left of Callahan's Wild West, and I know we have a number of things that we've preserved from this place and brought over to our Historical Society, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Including the Ramona Chapel.
That's right, the Ramona Chapel.
The Little Red Schoolhouse.
Little Red Schoolhouse, and I understand everything Callahan had here, he collected stuff that was authentic from the West. If a family moved out in a covered wagon, he could get his hands on the covered wagon, he brought it over here. And for instance, the Little Red Schoolhouse, that was actually a schoolhouse near Acton somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So what he had here was authentic. He tried to accumulate a lot of stuff that was from the Old West and put it into one location. Built this place up. Apparently he passed away in about 1985, and so that's when this became the Canyon Theater Guild, and that's when we got the few things that we've gotten over at the Historical Society.
Yeah. Nice stuff that he sent.
Yeah, nice stuff that he sent, and it's interesting to see what's left here from his days here. It hasn't really been touched since the Theater Guild used it. But it's an interesting place along Old Sierra Highway, isn't it?
It sure is.
Yeah.
We'll have to show the front of the building.
You were saying about this natural rock here behind us?
The reason that these people build all these things out of natural rock because it was there.
It was here. It was part of the environment.
And you couldn't buy cheaper building material.
Right, and they weren't about to knock down these trees that are around here
That's
either.
right. Not at all.
This is an area called Agua Fria, and it was one of the areas that Mitchell also owned. He was a smart man in that he homesteaded land that had water on it. So he had Agua Dulce, and he got Agua Fria, and this is a natural water seep here. There's water running here. And some of this land, this property behind us, is still in the Mitchell family, by the way. But the way Mitchell got this land was his ranch hand was a man named Tex Crisco, I believe it is, or Cisco, Tex Cisco. And Tex is not from Texas, by the way. He's from Tennessee. And he's also buried up at the Mitchell Cemetery. But Tex was a good, loyal ranch hand, and when he passed away, he had no descendants, and he left it to Thomas Finley Mitchell. So this land we're on was also owned by Thomas Finley Mitchell. Right? Nice little area, beautiful area, actually.
It sure is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of trees.
I thought this would be a good place to end our little adventure history of Canyon Country, because we started with some Mitchell property, we ended with some Mitchell property, and saw a few interesting things in between.
Yeah, there's still a few landmarks left.
A few landmarks left. I enjoyed visiting with Clem, a wonderful man. Really nice talking to him, too. I'd like to thank you for coming along on our history of Canyon Country.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Okay.
And until next time, this is Philip Scorza for Points of Interest.